All right, this is just a quick video related to the recent comments I keep seeing online about the mods for 3/4 inch DCF900s and all those. If you're watching this video, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm going to show you something that nobody else has shown exactly in the detail that I'm going to show it. First off, a lot of people wonder why you would even want a 3/4 inch anvil on this way more powerful DCF900 rather than the old 897, my old faithful here. And the answer is pretty obvious, at least in my own opinion. My biggest reason for wanting a 3/4 inch anvil has nothing to do with getting more power. It has more to do with not ruining sockets. I use a lot of 33mm sockets because I work on commercial vehicles, semi trucks, dump trucks, and whatnot. And I bought 33mm sockets that are 1/2 inch drive after I got the DCF900 because obviously I needed to be able to drive them, and I could put an adapter on it to step it up to 3/4, but when you add an adapter, you lose power. And lots of other people have done videos showing, how that happens. So I was just like, well, I'll grab some 1/2 inch sockets. So I started out with one I already had laying around, and that was just an OEM brand, OEM tools, 33mm socket. And the DCF900 just chewed the hell out of, where the anvil goes in. And it also, I believe, split this socket on the side. I don't even know if this socket is impact rated, honestly, but it was the only one I had laying around when I first got the 900, so I ran it, and you can see where it split down the side. So I got a better one. I ordered a gray pneumatic off of Amazon. This is a gray pneumatic, 33mm, extra long, 1/2 inch drive. And again, that 1/2 inch anvil just destroys. Let's see if I can get this to focus. It just wallers out the sockets like really, really bad. There we go. Really bad. You can see what it's done to this gray pneumatic one. And you go, well, spend more money on a better socket. And I go, okay, well, how about a snap-on right here? This one is a snap-on SI-MML 330, 33mm snap-on brand right there. Okay. Sorry, but you can only put so much power into a 1/2 inch driven socket without annihilating the socket. And the DCF900 is an absolute beast. And they just came out with the DCF961, which is even more of a beast, and still only a 1/2 inch anvil. Not only did this destroy the 1/4 inch opening of the socket, wallered it all out there, but it also split this socket down the side as well. This socket, I obviously can get replaced under warranty because it's snap-on, but still, how many 1/2 inch drive sockets do you have to ruin before you realize that a 3/4 inch drive socket is just going to last longer? Look at the inside of this one. I've had this socket for like 4 or 5 years, and it still looks like new. And you can go, well, yeah, that's just because the 897 doesn't have the power that the DCF900 has. And that may be true. However, I've run this on a 3/4 inch pneumatic that has easily as much power as the 900. And again, 4 or 5 years, and it looks like this. The snap-on one, I've had this for like 9 months, maybe, I think was about how long ago I got the DCF900. So I keep seeing people talk about just swap the nose cone, swap the anvil over, and it is kind of technically that easy, but I'm going to show you why I think it's less than optimal. And this is what I've yet to find an exact picture or video of anywhere else. And that is a comparison of the actual anvil and hammer between these two with them directly swapped. So here's your DCF900 1/2 inch. This is the top of the hammer. Okay. When you set your anvil on there, each lobe of the anvil at the bottom makes a flat contact right here against that side of the anvil or of the hammer, right? So you get a full smack out of it with every rotation, nice and smooth. But if you pull the 897 with the anvil that everybody keeps saying to put on here, right? I'm not going to ruin the surprise here first. I'm going to pull this off, and I'm just going to put it on there, just like what I've seen in most of the pictures and videos. Put it on, and it sits perfect, right? Just like they made it that way. You'd have to tighten it down to get rid of the gap, but it's there. You can spin the anvil back and forth. Here's the problem, is that the geometry on this anvil is not the same. The lobes are substantially wider, And because of the width of the lobe being wider, you can see there, because the lobe is wider, it means the little triangles on the hammer at the top don't match up correctly. So your hammer is not hitting the anvil square. It's just hitting in that, I brought this with for this very reason. It's hitting in this little corner right here. And there's no contact at the top of the anvil when you do this. So you take the 900 anvil, put it back on, flush. That's how it's meant to be, right? Zoom 1 times there, right? So pull that one off, put the 897 3/4 inch anvil on there. Pretty obvious. You're not getting a clean contact. It's hitting right here because the lobe is wider by, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, something like that. I mean, it's clearly wider. So you can see what this looks like. If you look at the 897's hammer and I show them side by side, you can see the difference. It's pretty obvious. Okay, that's that one. And then see how it's a much narrower triangle with like almost a point here. So when you put the DCF900 anvil on the one for the 897, now it's doing the opposite of what the other one's doing. It's coming in, it's making contact in the corner, but there's a gap. There's a gap right here at the backside. So I think the 897 would drive the anvil for the 900 probably better because it's hitting on the outside, but there's still going to be either damage to the anvil or damage to the hammer. And as far as running the 897 anvil on the 900 hammer, I mean, just look. Your hammer is going to hit and it's going to hit here. The leverage needs to be out here for it to really make a full impact. So will it work? Yeah. But is it going to do what you want it to do? Is it going to like reach its full potential? Probably not. So I'm going to just wait for DeWalt to come out with the 3/4 inch 961 or 964, I guess they're going to call it. The other option would be, if I was a machinist, which I'm not, to just shave the outer edges of the lobe down, like machine them down to where they're the same width as the 900's anvil. So if you had that anvil, if you had the 897's anvil, but the lobes were the width of the 900, that's probably the smallest modification you could make for this to actually be functional. So I hope that sets the record straight on these. You could move the 897 hammer over to the 900, but again, the whole point is that you're not getting the mass. So we want to keep this hammer, but to get a 3/4, this just, it's not as perfect a fit as it should be.